Okay, let's talk about creating our own paintbrush for Procreate. This is only going to be a 1 to 2 day lesson. It is just so that you guys can familiarize yourself with the process and what makes a paintbrush special, or how it, special how it works, I guess. But you're going to go to the brush tool library here, and you're going to hit the plus in the top right. And the two most important things about creating a paintbrush is the shape and the grain. The shape is the overall like roundness. Is the brush square? Is it a thin line? Is it dotted? That is your shape of the brush. And then your grain is the texture that it gives off. So is it a paint looking texture? Is it smooth like this one? Does it have a grainy texture? Is it a fur texture? We're going to create two different brushes. We're going to create one based off of the things we can import right off the app, the things that they make available for us to create paintbrushes with, or we are going, sorry, not or, and we are going to create one using our own sketch and our own research for a texture. So there's going to be two different ones. The first one is going to be pretty easy. We're going to start with shape, and we want to go to shape source, and you're going to go to import at the top, and let's go to source library. So Procreate gives you a whole bunch of different shapes that you can use to look at. They have everything from paint splatters to paint streaks to smooth to shapes, all kinds of different things. So you're going to pick one out, and maybe, let's see, I'm just going to pick out something random. Let's pick out water bleed, and I'm going to hit done. So that is my shape. So when I draw with the brush, I can see that shape showing up. I can play around with the scatter, which shows if it rotates or moves as each brush stroke is made. Same thing with rotation, and you can see how it adjusts the edge of the blur of the line. How many, like, are there going to be more per mark, less per mark, so on and so forth. You can also play around with the pressure roundness. So like, is the brush narrower? Is it wide? And those kinds of, really fun things. So experiment and play. Once you have your shape figured out, you're going to go to grain, and we're going to click the same thing. Your grain, again, is the overall texture you get when you press down and what's kind of showing through. So I'm going to go to grain source, import source library, and these are the different grains that they offer. I really like things like the oil pastel or the sketch paper. Personally, I'm going to try canvas. So that when I draw with it, you can see that texture shows through. And then you can choose, is it moving? So like it moves with the brush, and you can see if you use a different texture, it almost smears it. Or is it just textured overall underneath? So is the whole thing going to be textured beneath? You can change if it's a small texture or a large texture, and kind of that repetition of it. Here's movement. How much is it smearing? Like, how large or small do I want to make it? Maybe kind of in the middle. Is it zoomed? Oops, sorry. It's just kind of doing its own thing there. Does it rotate as it moves? The depth is like how contrasted the marks are from one another. And you can even play more with brightness. Do you want it to be a really bright brush or of a dull brush? Do you want any kind of differentiation in the black and whites quality in the marks if you do a textured? Do you want it to be really adjusted so that you have the harsh blacks and the harsh whites? Do you want it to be fairly blended together? What do you want to do? Once you have that, you'll kind of make it, you can title your brush, but then you can start to draw with it. So this feels very much like one of those pastel brushes that we made before.